Right, we are interrupting that report as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just stepped out of the Pashupatinath temple in Nepal. Remember, he is presently in the Himalayan nation where he's on a two-day visit to try and reset the ties with Nepal. Now, this is, of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first visit after the democratically elected government of KP Sharma Oli took charge in Nepal last year. Now, there are several contentious issues which Nepal and India, which have been two close allies for the last several decades, who will have to sort through, considering the manner in which China has made inroads diplomatically and also strategically in several of India's neighbours. And Nepal is one of the key states. It is a landlocked nation which has been extremely close to India, both culturally, traditionally, politically. India and Nepal share a porous border. And now there are issues that need to be sorted out, especially because of the brisk manner in which China has moved forth, helping Nepal out economically. Now, India in some way had felt that China was trying to intrude upon and take over the role that India had played in Nepal. And this, of course, is what the Indian Prime Minister is trying to undo and ensure that India again regains the position of preeminence so long as its relationship with Nepal is concerned. That the Prime Minister will be meeting with a lot of the legislators. He's met with several members of the government in Nepal. We also expect him to meet with the members of the opposition at about 2:30 p.m. later on in the day. He's also been visiting several temples. We saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting the Muktinath temple earlier in the morning. And now he, of course, was at the Pashupatinath temple where he's offered prayers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is seeking to strike a chord with the people of Nepal on the basis of faith. This is what has been very largely termed as Modi's faith diplomacy, so long as Nepal is concerned. And in a way, this is a visit that seeks to revitalize India's relationship with the landlocked nation. Now, Nepal, because of its very strategic location, is extremely important for India. It is one of those neighbors that India had a very good relationship for almost about 6-7 decades, until the time China moved in briskly, helping Nepal out. Now, the unfortunate reality at this point of time is that the position of preeminence which India had earlier enjoyed, that has to an extent diminished in terms of the Indo-Nepal ties. But that is, of course, what is sought to be corrected by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a two-day trip. Today, of course, is his second trip in Nepal. This is his third visit to Nepal in the last 4 years. And one expects that the manner in which the incumbent Prime Minister in Nepal, KP Sharma Oli, and also the Indian Prime Minister have bonded over the last 2 days, one expects that the relationship between the two nations will, of course, improve. There is increased people-to-people contact. Now, there is also what was known as the Ramayana circuit, which Prime Minister Narendra Modi has initialized, making it easier for people of both nations to visit the religious centers of importance that are present in both the nations. So a very significant visit. Modi's faith diplomacy, a religious outreach to the nation of Nepal. And it now remains to be seen as to what fruit this in fact bears in the India-Nepal equation. So this is day 2 of Indian Prime Minister's visit to Nepal, and in many ways a very significant visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who's trying to reset the equations that India and Nepal in fact enjoy. And India has, of course, pledged a lot of assistance in terms of infrastructure and also in other ways in terms of economically helping Nepal out in several of these big-ticket projects which are in fact being constructed in terms of dams. And we expect that this, of course, will in many ways benefit both nations. And for more on this, we're joined in by my colleague Siddhant Sibil, who's presently in Kathmandu and is tracking all the developments for us. Good afternoon to you, Siddhant. This is a very significant by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Nepal.
A significant visit. The last temple he was to visit, Pashupatinath, the visit is over. It took almost 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes of puja, he has just left with usual Hindu rituals, he was welcomed here in the temple, and a puja happened. And right now, of course, the security, of course, was there. The red carpets were rolled for him, and this focus on the entire two-day visit was on faith diplomacy, a new format of diplomacy. He went to 3 temples. He went to Janki Devi temple in Janakpur, then he went to Muktinath, and then finally he went to Pashupatinath, an important and historic temple. And he also wrote in the visitor's book thanking the Nepal government for making his visit here a successful one, his visit to the temples here. And focus on the faith diplomacy, temple diplomacy, whatever you call, but a lot of religious symbolism was very evident during his entire 2-day visit to the country in Nepal, his 3rd visit in Nepal, and the entire focus in the entire thing was on making sure that that trust, that confidence builds up between both the countries, India and Nepal.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibil, for joining us and getting us all those details. Now, these, of course, are the visuals that we are getting of Prime Minister Narendra Modi making his way out of the Pashupatinath temple.